Okay, I got a story. Now, this happened probably about 10 to 15 years ago. I look older. I look younger than I actually am. So I was probably...
Just tell us.
Okay, let me tell you a story. This was down in Rosedale, Mississippi. Okay, the year was 1997. And my buddy Cody, we were just down at the corner store. And I said, Cody, my buddy's got these two pistols. These two old rusty pistols that his daddy owned, right? Like, we're gonna go get those two pistols. We're gonna bring it down to Uncle Buck's ammo shop, get them cleaned up, get some solid ammo. And once we take those two pistols, we're gonna go have a chat with Ned. Ned down the street.
Oh, Ned. And we all know about Ned.
We all know about Ned. He is he's
Talking about Ned Crawford, right?
Ned Crawford.
We just wanted to push him around a little bit. That's what we wanted.
He's always
to do.
pushed us around.
Exactly, but we knew his brother Jamie wasn't going to be there. He was going to be down in Pascagoula.
He's big.
Okay.
Yep.
So we didn't have to worry about Jamie. So I went and got guns, got them cleaned up, got some ammo, handed one to Cody. I said, Cody, don't you dare pull that gun out unless I pull mine out. And then we
just wanted to scare him a little bit.
Right, we started walking down the street to Ned's house. And I'll let Luke continue that story.
Well, the
you
first
was there
thing,
too, man? You was there?
yeah. I was there. I heard it from Cody.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Right. And Cody has a couple brothers, Stafford, Fisher, Hunter, and Trapper.
Right.
They're all brothers.
Okay.
And the cool thing about Hunter and Fisher, they're twins.
Right.
They never went to school.
No shit.
Because their parents never made them because they're always too busy hunting and fishing.
Yeah. That happened.
That happened. But
As
anyway,
long as you got food and water, you're good.
right. So Ned and
Ned
brother here
and me.
Cody. They went to Ned's house.
Yeah.
So they went to his house. You know, he was there jumping on his trampoline. We were 15. You know, we're stupid kids. You know.
Sure.
He was
With two pistols in our
hey,
back
Ned,
pockets.
Hey Ned, come on down here. And he, he's a little bit bigger than us. Some kids, they age a little bit faster than other kids. They came back down the backyard and.
Well, tell them what we wanted. Tell them what we wanted.
It's okay, man.
He had the N64, the Majora's Mask game that we wanted.
No, it was ours. We got it for Christmas, and he took it from us.
He made it seem like it was his, but it wasn't.
And he told his mom that it was him, and he found it. And his mom talked to our mom, and he held on to it.
But we had the pistols this time.
So Cody pulled it out. We told him not to pull it out.
Did you pull yours out too?
Well, I had to because he pulled his out. So
and Cody just goes off script. He starts putting it to his head.
And we had talked about it.
And Ned thought it was like a play gun, and he started laughing and stuff like that. He's like, shoot me.
Then he took the gun, shot it once in the air, and that's when things got sobered up real quick. Ned starts cussing up a storm. Cody's saying, I'm sorry. I didn't know. And I told him I knew it.
Exact that minute, that bullet came down from the sky and hit Cody
in the toe.
Hit him?
In the foot.
No. It came back
down? It was
down?
perfect straight up in there.
No
Damn.
So then we grabbed our Majora's Mask game, took off into the woods. We buried the guns. They're still there to this day.
Yeah, and his toe's never been the same ever since because he lopped that toe off real quick.
Cody just
cut
said,
it off.
Lopped it.
Got rid of it.
Well, he didn't want to get in trouble for stealing the Majora's Mask game, so he told his parents
he just
stubbed it really bad.
He put a huge tube of Neosporin on it.
Welcome to Perspective Lens Podcast number 9.
You didn't think we'd make it this far, but we did.
We here. We sure showed all of you. But thank you for watching.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
In all reality, we appreciate it. Thank you. So what's new on the list? What's new on the agenda? What did we do yesterday?
Yesterday, announcement.
Oh, yes.
We got a new film. We're making a new film, new project, new movie. Yeah! Woo!
Let's give him a little bit of background with this
competition.
Right. Well, as of yesterday, we are headway into pre-production. It's official. It started already. It's a competition, script competition festival called a place called Sacramento. Basically, you write a script, 10-minute short film. It has to do something with Sacramento, as you guys know. And you submit it, and they select 10 short scripts. And ours was selected. We got selected. The story is about these two brothers that go kayaking down the Sacramento River from Mount Shasta all the way to Sacramento, like a summer adventure. But there's conflict arises when we learn that one of the brothers can't swim, deathly afraid of water. And so the story is about them trying to, in spite of that, get all the way down the river. Mm-hmm. And it's a good little script. We're really excited to make it. It got selected, of course.
Yeah. The main things with the script, we got characters, we got conflicts, we got goals.
The three ingredients.
The three ingredients.
Three main ingredients.
When you put it together, you have a tasty.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta add a
little spice,
a little spice here and there. You know,
and then you got a little story there. So
story.
So yesterday was the first official day of production because the three of us and Seth, Luke wasn't there.
Yeah, Luke.
But as a crew, we went down there to Sacramento to this kind of convention center courtyard where they had like 300 people there. It's sponsored by Access Sacramento, and they have a few Access channels, like channel 17 and 18. So these films, when they're done, including ours, is going to be shown at the Crest Theater, historic Crest Theater in downtown Sacramento, and also be shown on TV on those Access channels. So actually, it's guaranteed distribution for a film. That's something we haven't really had the chance to be a part of yet. Right. So really exciting. Anyway, so yesterday we went down there, and it's a giant cast and crew call. So you have the chance to kind of sell your project and tell all these people about it that are there in the local community of Sacramento film community. And so you got a chance to talk about it. We had our own booth set up, and so afterwards you have all these kind of actors and crew that are looking to be volunteers on a project to kind of come in and be part of it. And so we had to talk to a lot of people. We got all these stacks of headshots of all these people that want to be either cast or crew, and we have to go through it all and kind of organize a day where we do casting calls and kind of organize a production plan, finalize a script. So much to be done now. We're just starting, but man, it's exciting.
It is exciting to be back on a project, working on something.
Yeah. We haven't done anything since our Doritos commercial, which was in September or something.
Yeah. We have the music video.
Yeah, the music video. That's true. Yeah.
Smaller stuff. This is our next big thing.
This is like our next narrative project.
Hopefully, our best one yet. We can try to keep getting better with every single time. Right. So, learning from the mistakes we've made in the past.
Right.
That's right.
Capitalizing on the strengths we have now. I think we're in good shape. A lot of interesting projects out there, but I'm excited to see.
I think it was interesting too. I didn't know it's actually a competition. There's like I think there's awards and stuff. You win like best like audience film or best producers award, and maybe there's like a best actor and actress or something like that. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's kind of cool because now I feel like we really have the potential, our script, to be like one of the best films at the competition.
That's our goal,
if not the best. Because that's our goal. I'm sure that's everyone else's goal too. But like some of the projects there were pretty good. Like they seem pretty interesting. Some of them, maybe not my cup of tea, but I'm sure they'll still probably turn out fine. They said it's the 16th year this is the 16th year that they've been doing it, and they've done it. What is that, since like 1999? 10 films a year, and he said that every single year there's only been one film that they haven't made. So that's 100 instead of it's 149 films out of 150.
Awesome. That one person.
They didn't get it filmed.
They did.
It's because he got. Well, we all know what happened to him.
He's no longer with us.
That was Ned.
Well, that was Ned. We don't talk about that anymore.
Ned's
dead.
He lived.
Right. Ned's dead, baby.
Ned's dead. Okay, so we're really excited about that, and we're going into pre-production, and we're gonna do work.
The title is called River of Fear. So look out for that. We're gonna be starting probably Facebook, maybe Twitter, little page. I'm gonna be giving you updates probably every podcast, as well as on our Facebook page. So you're going to be getting behind the scenes stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun to film. We're going to be filming like on the river in Sacramento. It's going to be a blast.
There's a lot of logistics to figure out, just filming on a river with water and electrical equipment. Like
kayaking.
That's huge.
We obviously haven't learned to not bite off more than we can chew.
Yeah. Right.
We'll learn eventually, but
we'll learn. That's a point, but maybe not.
We'll figure it out.
We always go, let's wind it back.
Challenge is good.
Of course.
It's a realistic challenge, I think.
I think
like
until we actually
going back to our earlier
filming.
podcast, it's like we want to film somewhere we haven't filmed before,
Exactly.
Because we're not filming in a house in a coffee shop.
And here's the big difference.
It's a great location.
Yeah.
Sacramento River.
I think
gorgeous.
Locations are something we always, get right. Really, we always pick great locations. We always make a lot of mistakes that.
I feel like that's almost an easy thing to do.
It really is.
It's like the easiest part.
And here's the thing too: it's like we don't make that many mistakes. Like, I think we don't give ourselves enough credit. Like we're our own biggest kind of critics as most artists
As we
probably
should.
are. If we are artists, that might be pretentious. But we try and create. And so I think, but yeah, you're right. The one thing that we do get right is like the locations that we get are stellar. They're never in just like, you know, a house. Like our Doritos commercial was out in the mountains. Hopefully this one will be out somewhere. The music video that we did is going to be, was out in the Bay Area on Treasure Island.
Right.
Civil War story was out on, some beautiful like Mississippi land. So we do make an effort.
I think I know because I think the complications of this shoot are going to be because we're on a river. We're going to be filming like by rapids and stuff. So it's, the challenge is like if a boat, you miss one take and you have to go back upstream or something. That could be tough.
Yeah,
but I think the big thing we have going for us is that like whereas on the Civil War story where we had to depend on and kind of deal with all these people, all these actors, all these crew, I think this time we're only dealing with two main cast members.
Yeah, 2 actors, man.
So much easier to manage, and like we said, we like keeping our crew small now. I think that was one of the things we learned making the Doritos commercial. Just 5-man crew, just the 5 people in this room right now, including Seth behind camera. We're able to make that, which really turned into a great project. Probably our best, most professional, polished-looking project ever. Just a 5-person crew.
Yeah, it's the one that we're most proud of. It was 30 seconds long, but it was one that we really took a lot of pride in.
Yeah, and I think it worked because it was so easy to manage. Not easy to manage, but more manageable, right?
Yeah.
And we were able to really control everything. Nothing was out of our control. We didn't have to depend on people to show up, And I think that's something we're probably going to try and do this time.
Just control as much as possible.
Exactly.
Well, I'm reading that book. There's this book I'm reading called Making Movies by Sidney Lumet. And he's one of the greatest film directors of all time. Like most filmmakers regard him as like one of the greats. He was one of the few that had final cut of their films, which is apparently really hard to get.
Difficult.
And so he just made all of the film, like so many films, 50 films, and in this book he wrote it just his process of making his film. So he doesn't talk about other movies or whatever. He's just talked about his experiences making his films and the way he does it, and he just rehearses. So that's like one thing that I really want to take from that is rehearse with your actors.
Right.
Make sure the locations are scouted out. Like we go out and we go, okay, well here's where we can drop the actors off. Like he said that he goes out with his whole crew weeks in advance. Or he goes out with like the chiefs of all the departments, the chiefs of the chief teamster, the chief PA, the script supervisor, the AD, all these people, like a crew of 10 or so people, and they go out and they go to this location. They go, okay, well here's where the trucks are going to park, and here's where the actors are going to stand, and here's where we'll block traffic here, and here's what we'll do this, and they get it all planned like down to the T.
Right.
And then they go to the next location, do the same thing. So we can go there and be like, okay, well here's where all the trucks are gonna roll up. Here's where we can start filming for this scene. Go down the river a little bit. Okay, here we can do it this scene. And I really think that we should try and rehearse with the actors.
I do too.
It doesn't have to be an extensive rehearsal. It's just two actors. It's a 10-minute film, but we can get them.
We can meet up at least a couple times.
A couple
for
times.
Sure.
We
Yeah.
all take that a requirement if you want to work on this film. You have
Absolutely,
You
and
gotta
like
know your lines. We can't be spending extra time.
yeah.
We are, because we're going to be pressed for time on set. We spent 4 or 5 days making a 30-second Doritos commercial.
Yeah.
This is 20 times as long, a 10-minute film, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to have 20 times as long to shoot it.
Right.
So we got to really be efficient in how
That's
we're
right.
doing things.
And we talked about one way we can do our location scouting is actually getting kayaks ourselves and one weekend go up and just go down the river.
Yeah.
Let's map out, we'll bring your maps, we'll circle spots that we really like that we want to film certain scenes
that's
once
a great idea.
our film is like locked down, the script is, we want to do this scene here, we want to do this scene here. Obviously we can jumble it up. People aren't going to know the difference between upriver and downriver. Sure. So technically we could probably film the whole thing in like less than a mile stretch if we want to.
We probably could, yeah.
Absolutely, we could.
But also we got to think like if we're leaving most of our equipment on the side of a river,
exactly.
like if we float down a little bit, how we can get back up, especially if we have a couple canoes of just kayakers coming down and then all of our equipment on another one filming. So we have a lot of logistics we have to figure out. But it's exciting. Like I'm excited just to do the location scouting. I think
that's one of my favorite parts.
We'll definitely do some behind the scenes with that.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
And what's cool too that I found out about like rehearsals and like the way he did it, and maybe this is probably the way most people do rehearsals. Sidney Lumet, and the way most directors I'm sure rehearses, they go into like a room. It can just literally be like a warehouse or like an old gymnasium or something, just a big empty space.
Yeah.
And they have it all blocked out with tape and everything. So if there's a scene in like a bedroom and like the actor goes over and like in the actual movie, they open up like say their dresser drawer and then they close it and they come over here and maybe they lay on the bed. They literally have in this big room, they have a bed and they have a dresser and they have like a seat. Or if it's like, if they're in a car, it's supposed to be a car, it's 2 chairs next to each other.
Right.
But they have all the spots marked out where the actors are supposed to go. They just block it out. And so if we want to, we can have like our 2 actors pretend to be in the canoes, you know, and like just do a little rehearsal or something. Have them just in a seat or something.
Yeah.
Kind of have them, you know,
Definitely.
act that way out. So it's like once we actually get on set, we don't have to like get them to keep remembering their lines and take time that way, the way we did it on like another Civil War story, which like they did remember their lines, but it just took a little bit longer because they had to kind of keep going over and over. But if we have it locked down, all we have to do is just go and film.
Exactly.
You know, all we have to worry about is just like the lighting and setting up the camera angles and everything.
And I think that makes the character, I mean, the actors a lot more comfortable too.
Sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
And when they're comfortable, that's when.
When they, if they want to go off script and experiment, you know, like they're already feeling that comfortable. They already know what the director wants. We get those couple takes.
Exactly.
And I was like, okay, let's experiment. You know, do something else you want to do. You know.
And it's beneficial to meet with them before because I think the actors that we've worked with so far, thinking back, we've met them the day of filming. On like every project we've worked on, Waypoint, Thinking Out Loud, Civil War Story, we met them like the day that we're filming, and it would be it'd be a lot better if we were able to meet them, engage them, and kind of get to know them as people and as actors, so that we can build that trust by the time we get on to set, you know.
Right.
Because I don't think we've done that yet, have we?
Well, we've seen their casting calls and stuff online, and
but we haven't actually got to.
But we haven't actually like sat down and met with them a little bit.
That's what
we did it on Drive-In.
Yeah.
A little bit with. Especially with children actors. You definitely
get them comfortable.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely
I think for this one we choose our 2 main actors probably. Yeah. We should really take some time to spend some time with them. You know.
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
Have them over a few nights maybe.
Yeah, we should
just hang out.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Just get
we
comfortable.
just bring them over and just say, you like our posters?
You like our posters? You want to be on our podcast?
And then
everyone
kick
meet
them
our
out.
new actor. That's actually not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea at all. We might have to do that. We'll keep that in mind.
Don't think about it.
So, have we seen any good movies lately, fellas? What did we watch last night?
We watched a movie called Exodus, Gods and Kings, which
Gods
should have
and
been in the 1950s. that was the time during big what was it called? The golden era of Hollywood, when they were doing Ben-Hur and Cleopatra, and where women weren't allowed to do anything. That's what this movie was.
Yeah. Ridley Scott's like, let's do it bigger than Gladiator.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, a lot of people did not like it.
Yeah.
A lot of people like really bashed it. I mean, I didn't find it like horrible, but it wasn't good either. You know, it was just kind of take it for what it is. You know.
Sure.
I mean, it's a story. The story's been told. It's about Moses and the exodus of the Jews, but it was just the story's been told over and over again. So maybe that's why like I didn't have like a lot of tension watching it. There wasn't. I just wasn't really invested too much in the main character.
There was a lot going on too. It was almost like he was trying to cover kind of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then the story kind of made a lot of leaps. At the very beginning, Christian Bale, Moses, obviously, Englishman,
tall, 6 foot white man, land-owning male.
Yeah,
plays the African Moses,
right?
African Jew.
So
seriously.
So Christian Bale at the very beginning doesn't believe in God, has his issues with God, and he's
Let me
really
guess.
concerned.
At the very end, he believes.
Well,
in
I mean,
God.
no, he's
it's an art.
So yeah, he just makes all of a sudden like he gets sent out into the desert. 9 years later, he goes onto this mountain and sees this little boy who symbolizes God, and then he's like, okay, I'll go back to Egypt. I'll go back to Egypt just to kind of figure out who my mom was. And then all of a sudden he gets back and he's like, you have to let my people go. There's a big jump between not believing in God and then getting the people
Well,
free.
there's also a big jump between him not accepting that he was Jewish.
Yeah.
You know, he like they're like, oh, because he's like royalty, and then some spies find out that he is probably Jewish, and then it comes to Ramses, who's played by Joel Edgerton, who was the dude in Warrior, opposite Tom Hardy, another white guy, and and so he's all butthurt at Moses, and he's like, no Jews in my house.
Yeah,
and then kicks him out.
I don't know, they did this weird thing with the color palette. All of a sudden, it would just kind of turn really dark blue.
Yeah, and I didn't know if it was supposed to be like early morning
or almost nighttime. But then the night scenes were like black, dark, really dark. They looked like nighttime, and I didn't feel like I was trying to connect it with something. I was trying to figure out what the point of that was.
Yeah, it was really weird,
and I couldn't get it. Don't just do it for the sake of doing it. Maybe I'm not getting something, but I don't know. I was trying to connect it.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
It wasn't a terrible movie. I thought actually the set design and like the art direction and all of like the detail that went into it, like the costumes and all that stuff was like really good. And in the beginning, there's this big kind of battle scene where I guess Ramsey's whole army goes and attacks this like village or something. This like
no, I think it's like an oncoming army.
Yeah, they're like an oncoming army.
But they're like
incoming
army. Yeah, and then
but they were caught unaware, and it was this big brouhaha.
Yeah, big brouhaha. Yeah, the special effects were pretty good.
Pretty good.
I don't know.
0 to 10. What do you give it?
Like a 6 maybe.
5.5.
Yeah. It really wasn't all that.
I didn't watch it.
It wasn't all that memorable. And also, well, same thing. We saw Avengers.
Did you talk about Avengers?
Yeah, Avengers is kind of the same thing. Like
Avengers. Whew.
Not even all that memorable either. Which is kind of a bummer for like Avengers. Like this is a big, huge Hollywood film, like a Marvel movie, you know, and it's the sequel to like the first Avengers, which was a really big film. It was actually pretty good. I thought the first Avengers was good.
Yeah.
And this one, it was just, I don't know. It didn't really. It wasn't all that memorable. Ultron is for those of you who haven't seen it, is this robot that is man-made from like Tony Stark's. Tony Stark has what's his name, Jarvis, who's like that AI, and then he builds Ultron, who's like a super powerful AI or something, like almost better than Jarvis.
It's going to perhaps protect the Earth.
Yeah, it's gonna like protect. Yeah, everything is like highly intelligent, and he's so intelligent that he becomes self-aware, and he just kind of builds himself this body, this metal body, and then starts building all these other Ultrons. And so that was the thing for me, is Ultron didn't. He kind of was a lackluster bad guy because he didn't have much agency himself. It wasn't like he was just taking on all the Avengers on his own. He had this kind of army of other Ultrons, which was really weird. There was a lot of stuff that I felt like was kind of loopholey, like a lot of character stuff that didn't really add up to how the characters should have acted.
I feel like this film had a lot of action, and they needed to put that in there. And they didn't have enough time to really explore these characters individually.
Yeah.
Well, that's already been done in their each individual movies. So by the time you watch Avengers, you know who these characters are.
Yeah, but they don't change. They don't change at all.
It does, because they've already done their character development in the past movies.
No, I don't think they have. I mean, but still, like this is a separate movie. Even though they've already had their character change in another movie, this is still a separate movie. They can still change in a different way.
Yeah.
But I just feel like they're the same characters at the very end, so they can then at the very end of this movie they can go out to their own that's separate movies and keep going on their, because they can't change insanely amount at the end of this film, or they're going to be a different character from when they go back to Captain America, whatever.
I think they had all those minor changes in the Avengers 1 where they had to learn how to work together as a team. They had all these like ego complexes, you know.
That's kind of true.
So I think the real issue is like you've got this huge big super group, and each one is just this superhuman great god, semi-god. How do you create, and there's like 5 or 6 of them, so how do you create one evil dude that can take on all of them when in respect, like the Hulk could just go and take them out?
Yeah.
That's one issue.
That's one issue.
Yeah.
And I guess like, I don't know. I guess you can have character change. I mean, it can be minor.
But it didn't happen in that film.
It didn't really seem to. I think, you know what, this was almost kind of Hawkeye's film in a weird way. It's almost like they tried to. He had a lot of agency in this film. Like they kind of go at one point to his house.
Yeah.
Like,
spoiler alert.
Sorry, I mean but they're kind of hanging out in his house with his family. He's got like a wife and kids. He's just this like normal dude, which is kind of weird because then there's like, you know, but I don't know. It just wasn't all that memorable to me. I just saw it like a week or so ago, and there's some parts that don't.
It's fading.
I think a good film should really stick with you. It should be good for a reason, not just because they put a lot of money and special effects into it. Yeah.
Whiplash.
Yeah, what special effects did Whiplash have? Probably none.
But it's like there's no sense of something at stake, you know?
Yeah. There really wasn't much.
It's like you're going to that film to see effects, and that's what you get, and that's what you expect. So maybe that's why you go to that film. But like, yeah, for me, there's nothing at stake, so it's like I'm not worried at any point that a character's gonna die because no characters do die.
I mean, that's what it is, and it's an escapist film. You just go and you're just kind of like.
But still, like you take the director Joss Whedon. He's a good director. He's a good writer.
Yeah.
You know, he's done a lot of great stuff. But he wrote a bad film.
Well,
Was it bad? Was it?
Yeah.
Well, all right. It's funny. I just read something I think online that said Joss Whedon, like, he claimed like this film kind of broken. Like this film like almost took so much out of him because he's trying to. I forgot exactly what he said, but he's trying to top the last Avengers, or he's trying to. It's almost like it was too much for him. You know, not too much for him, but like enough already. Like he's made this crazy Avengers film before, now he has to try and top it again. And because he's tried to do that, maybe I don't know. It kind of fell short in some respects. Here's what I think, and I mean, I have a lot of things to think about this film, but one of them is kind of what we touched on before, is the villain of Ultron.
Yeah.
I mean, the villain is what really makes your movie, especially in an action movie.
Yeah.
Actually, any movie, you need to have a great antagonist that challenges your main character or your main character.
Yeah.
And I really don't think Ultron did that, and for a few reasons. One of the main reasons is that because Ultron, who has seemingly at first this really cool ability to be like almost invincible because he has all these bodies. If you kill the main Ultron, you still have his consciousness can be just in another robot. So it's like, how do you possibly kill this guy?
Yeah.
Which seems really great. Like, how do you kill this guy? But what happened in the movie was that we have all these Avengers, and they're all just so freaking powerful and great. So it's almost like it's like Syndrome in Incredibles. It's like when everyone's great, no one is. You know. And so
exactly.
and that's kind of what it felt like. And then so they're fighting this like endless wave of robots, right? But these endless wave of robots didn't pose, I don't think, much of a challenge to them. They kept mowing through them without really feeling like they were in danger. Thousands, and there was no finite number of them. So let's say they had to kill 100 robots, and they kill 99, but they have to kill one more, but it's really hard to kill. And then so maybe they kill that guy and there's tension there and they finally do it and like, hooray.
Yeah.
But when there's an endless number of robots, they can just keep killing them, and then whenever you decide to cut off the number and then there's only one left, then it's like, you don't really feel like you're leading up to
anywhere.
Yeah, they're getting anywhere. It's just more fighting, more
gaining
fighting.
ground.
No, therefore, every fight feels the same. It feels kind of hollow. You don't feel this tension. I mentioned this a few podcasts ago when we're talking about like what makes a great action movie is like if your hero feels like he's threatened or in danger. I never really felt that with the Avengers because, like I said, they're these godlike characters that are almost infallible in a lot of ways. Hulk can't really be injured or in danger at all. I mean, remember the first Iron Man movie where he's fighting Obadiah Stane, he's fighting Ironmonger?
Yeah.
He's getting the crap beat out of him. His suit is all messed up. He has no power. He's like at 12% power.
Yeah.
And you know, Jeff Bridges is just like, I'm just trying to...
Yeah, just
and you're like, he's losing. He's going to lose this fight. No, he's not going to win this fight. He doesn't even have power anymore. And he finds a way to figure it out, and he finally beats him. With Ultron, it was kind of just like, at the very end of the movie, there was one guy left, and Vision, I'm going to spoil this, so
spoiler.
Yeah. There ends up being just one Ultron left, but you don't really know how they got. It doesn't really explain or seem important how they got there. There happened to be one left, and one of the Avengers goes there and just they kind of have a little conversation. And he just kills them, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
And it's over after that. And you're just like, okay, I guess that's it.
That actually is a good point. He doesn't even. There's this guy. Another spoiler. There's this guy called Vision, and Vision is created artificially. Like in the beginning of the film, there's these scientists that are sort of trying to develop artificial, like actual tissue for a robot, like not just like an artificial body, but literally almost like skin and tissue and like that. Ultron gets a hold of that and sort of kind of does it for himself or something like that. And he has his own like kind of vision of how this person should be. Like he almost views humans as kind of like a nuisance or something like that, as like a pest. And so he's trying to just wipe out humans. And so Vision gets created and is basically Ultron's brain, but with sort of like a humanoid kind of body, right?
Or Jarvis's brain.
It was Jarvis's brain. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was Jarvis's brain. I'm sorry. And so he's kind of like the physical embodiment of Jarvis, really. And so the Avengers are fighting Ultron, and it's like Tony Stark's creation, and also Bruce Banner, the Hulks. They kind of work on it together and create this thing, and they're killing all of them. Like Axel said, there's just thousands of them, which does take away the point. It's almost like, you know, the fewer bullets you have in a movie, you know, everyone's gonna have to count. Same thing with, you know, like villains. If there was a finite number, you have to kill these 10, and you're keeping track. Like in Kill Bill, you know, he had his list of people that she had to kill, and you know, she crosses them off each one. You know, you only know she has, there's 2 left, 1 left, 3.
Yeah.
And this one, you know, it's just there's so many of them, and then there's one left, and he doesn't even face the Avengers. He faces Vision.
And that's another cool point, is I think I'm just going to go back just a little bit leading up to that, is that Tony Stark builds this AI, right?
Yeah.
It becomes sentient and it starts destroying the world.
Yeah.
And this is Tony Stark's problem, you know?
Yeah.
He could have some he could have some legitimate change, like some character change.
Yeah.
You know what happens? He builds another robot.
Yeah.
So it's like he doesn't feel bad about it. He just keeps plowing ahead. Maybe that's part of his character,
Yeah,
but like he could still have
be.
some legitimate remorse. Go about it a different way in solving this problem and saying, okay, I'm never gonna touch Jarvis again. Or he could have some serious, because that's part of his being. You know, he could have some serious change there.
Yeah.
But instead, he builds another robot basically, and has that not even face the Avengers. We just have that another AI that's slightly sentient. Jarvis fights the AI, finish it off, you know, and then they stop the. Isn't that insane?
It'd be like more interesting, like if the Avengers were really pissed at Iron Man and say, "We kick you out."
Well, did they kind of work? Because remember, I mean, I'll defend it actually. In this point, is he kind of did. Remember when he was about to do it, and then like Thor comes in and throws the hammer at him, and he's like he kind of just comes in and he's like, "You have to stop building this robot." He's like, "No, I'm already building." Like he's all mad, and then they have that huge kind of fight amongst themselves, sort of for a second. That was kind of interesting. I think that might be kind of part of Tony Stark's character. Like that almost maybe is a slight character change in the other direction. Not in a positive character change. It kind of solidifies him maybe more as an egomaniac and stuff. But he definitely could have changed and felt some remorse and like, oh, what have I created? Because not only did this, I just created this thing, which is now creating itself 1,000 times.
It's just like,
and he's like, oh, I've really created a problem. But yeah, if the Avengers were all pissed at him, like, Tony, look what you did. Like you're annoying. And then they all just
kicked him out.
Yeah, they just
kicked him out.
Yeah, you're out.
But then leave it to Iron Man. He's got to figure out a way to get back in. He feels bad now. He's got to figure out a way to fix all this. But the Avengers are trying to fix it. Maybe they can't figure it out. But Iron Man, he's like, no, I gotta change and do it the right way this time. So they'll let me back in. Wouldn't that be kind of more interesting?
Well, it'd be cool because like they'd still be the Avengers and they'd be trying to fight this problem.
Yeah.
And he'd be trying to fight it his own way, kind of on his own, because they're sort of shunned him. But then they were like, all right, we realize that we need Iron Man, and he's like, I realize I need you guys.
Another point would be interesting is that at the very beginning of the Avengers, or at the end of Iron Man 2 or 3, he didn't want to be part of the Avengers.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And now that he's in, he doesn't want to leave.
That would be kind of cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That could be interesting. One more point I had about Avengers was Joss Whedon has always been known as this director who's very kind of aware and cognizant of like the feminist kind of area of films. He's always made really great female characters like Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Right.
And even in the first Avengers, Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson, she's really badass. Yeah, remember in Iron Man 2, my favorite part of Iron Man 2 is when she's kicking ass all those soldiers. You know, she's beating the hell out of them. It was just awesome. It was the coolest part of the movie, I think, because there are actually other humans she's fighting. That's a whole other thing I want to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Is having your enemies be villains or just mindless robots or aliens that you can kill without remorse or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she's kicking ass and just taking names and just really awesome. In this film, Avengers: Age of Ultron, she's kind of she's really just there for, I don't know, like a romantic subplot.
Like a love interest, yeah.
And at one point she gets put in this prison, and you'd think her character would be the kind of secret agent, badass Black Widow character that could get out of it, you know, find a way, and do some cool karate, I don't know, and just get out of prison and
pick the lock.
Pick the lock. She's Black Widow. Remember in the first Avengers when she's getting interrogated about his Russian?
But you think she doesn't care at all. She's done, but she had everything under control. Exactly. She was like, "No, this ain't."
And she gets out of it. It's so cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
In this movie, she's in prison and she just kind of waits for Hulk to come save her.
Yeah, that is true.
And Hulk doesn't even fight anyone to save her.
Yeah,
he just walks
shows up. Like, what's going on? Joss Whedon, like, that's a rare lapse in his style. You know?
Yeah, that really.
Also,
that
another point with Black Widow. There's a point in the film where Bruce Banner and she have like kind of an intimate moment.
Yeah.
And she basically reveals the fact that she can't have kids.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
that.
That was kind of weird.
That's definitely clear. It's like, no, I can't have kids. I'm sad. Okay. You know, it just seemed very.
Well, they're trying to admit, like, they're trying to get the sympathy from the.
Yeah, that she's still a human. Like, she's not this just mindless kind of assassin.
Yeah. Just trying to get the audience to pity her a little bit. You know,
but I hate when
but at the same time, it's easy emotion.
Exactly,
Yeah.
But she didn't really.
But it didn't follow through. Was it not like.
Yeah, like she became barren because they sterilized her. The Russians did when they were training her from like 6 years old or something. Right. That, which is like. I mean, and you can't get that sympathy, but like we're sympathetic towards them anyway, kind of, or at least we should be. If you write them well enough and just write that they're this team of dudes who are all, or you know, this team of superheroes that are all have their own kind of inner conflicts, conflicts amongst each other, and then conflicts amongst the outside problem, you'll sympathize with them naturally. You don't have to add in this.
I don't know. I think it was. I don't think it was very memorable. I don't think it was very. There didn't seem like a lot of tension, a lot of reason for me to really doubt the success of our heroes. You know, when it's too easy, it's hard to really kind of fall into it and fall in love with it.
Yeah,
I think. Or you were talking about after we watched it, you likened it to like eating.
Yeah.
Go for that. I love that analogy.
I remember I was watching this movie and I was watching Iron Man in this Hulk armor fighting Hulk and just all this just punching and more and then so you're watching all these Avengers and there's so many. There's like 9 at the end of the movie. There's like 9 Avengers and every time you think about like I haven't seen him fight in a while, then it'll show you him fighting. So it's almost like every time they showed a character fighting is because they felt like they had to because you hadn't seen him in a while.
Yeah.
And when you get so much of that, you're seeing all this action and it doesn't really amount to a lot of meaningful stuff where you're totally invested in it. And what I said, I guess what Luke was talking about was I kind of liken it to like you have like this whole cake, like you have this sweet tooth, right? You got to eat this cake, and so you eat one bite, it's delicious. You have a whole another piece, you have a whole other piece, and it's just awesome. Cake is great. Everyone loves cake, but you have a whole cake. When you're finished with that cake, it feels you feel disgusting.
Bloated.
Oh my god!
Like,
so I'm sitting there watching it like I have too much cake.
Really is, dude.
That's what I felt like. That's really what I felt like. Too much, and you feel crappy, and you gotta go.
Take a dump.
It's like you just want to go home and just sit on the couch and just be like, I got a problem.
Well, because like the intense action, it just builds, and it's up here, and it can't build anymore, so it's just up here.
It's just
up here.
But it plateaus very quickly because in the very first scene, they're just throwing people, going through the winter wonderland, and it just like kapow, and you're like, oh great, and it just plateaus for the rest of the film. And it goes down a little bit, right back to where it was, and then. They had that's it. The Avengers, that's what they do really well is like they mix comedic relief in there really well. I think that's Joss Whedon. That's Joss Whedon's style.
And I think Transformers is very similar. The first Transformers, it's kind of like character development, moving. There's a little bit of action, kind of cool, blah, blah, blah. Second one, you're up here even more.
Yeah.
The third one, you're just like, it's like the same thing.
You're
it's just like
ultimate high.
Buildings are collapsing, people are going through.
But you're numb to it.
Yeah,
you're numb to it. Superman movie, you don't care.
We're talking about superhero fatigue. Like, after watching this movie, I just feel like, man, I'm kind of tired of superhero movies. I actually felt like that. But we're not even halfway done with it.
No.
There's still like phase 3.
Let's list them. We got 2 more Avenger movies. We have Ant-Man. We got
the third Captain America.
Captain Marvel. We have another Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, X-Men, Age of Apocalypse.
Not to mention the DC movies that are going to start happening.
Superman versus
Spider-Man. Did I say that already?
Yeah, Spider-Man reboot.
It's like, oh my god.
And then I hope they don't do this with Star Wars because they're going to start popping out like.
Oh, dude, they will. No, you know that now they're going to do. They already have in talks a Star Wars spin-off.
Yeah,
like Boba Fett or.
Fine, yeah, whatever. Fine. They're going to find the stupidest character. They're going to find like Greedos.
But when it falls, like it fell into the hands of J.J. Abrams, and I think he's a great guy to.
Yeah,
he knows these problems. I really think he knows
I think he does too. I hope so.
But when it falls into some other people's hands, when they have all these spin-offs and stuff like that, it's going to be the same stuff,
Well, I mean, how much say does he have as the studio execs?
Exactly.
These guys want money, and they know these movies are going to rake in billions of dollars.
Well,
the Marvel universe
it's the same thing with this movie we're just talking about. Joss Whedon is a capable, great director.
Yeah.
But even under these circumstances, it's just like, what can you do? Peter Jackson and the Hobbits.
He probably doesn't even have Final Cut, Joss Whedon. I can't imagine. I doubt it.
I kind of doubt it.
I don't think so. I think for he probably just.
You think eventually is the fatigue going to catch up? Are we going to? Is someday society going to get tired in like 5 years, 10 years? Or too many superhero movies? Do you think? What if we start seeing a decline? What if all these superhero movies come out and they don't really do as well? Maybe because people get tired. I don't know. Maybe not.
I still fucking love Seth's idea of like a superhero movie that's like a disaster movie from the point of view of the people, where you almost never see the superhero. The superhero is almost the antagonist because you're just from the point of view of just you're like a regular
hero who's the antagonist.
Exactly. You're just sort of almost like the dude's like an office worker, just some mindless Joe. But just once in a while, out the window, you just see like these 2 dudes fighting, just flying through the sky, and they just collapse a building. You're like, they're gonna hit my building next, and everyone's scrambling to get down.
People jumping out of the building.
Dude, it'd be like it would be traumatic.
Oh my god!
Realistically, it'd be traumatic.
What's the movie where it's like it's all handheld? And it came out
Cloverfield.
Yeah,
it would be like Cloverfield.
Kind of like Cloverfield.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. It would be, and it would be like
you don't know what's going on.
That's a sick idea.
It's our idea. Don't steal it.
Don't steal it.
We did this a couple episodes.
Yeah, I know.
No, take it.
I mean, that's a sick idea because, like, you're right. We're just it almost is fatigue, and I think. I'm sure there's a population that loves it.
There's a huge population.
I mean, clearly
they don't understand.
Yeah,
it's just a lot of comic book fans,
that.
but I don't know. I think a lot of just kind of moviegoers will get really. That's all movies are nowadays. Like, dude, the Marvel universe, the comic book universe dominates a very large percentage of the films that are coming out nowadays. Something to think about. Well, I guess we could probably kind of wrap it up. Yeah,
We're on time, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, this has been episode 9.
Episode
Hope
9.
you enjoyed. We'll keep you updated on the status of our film as it comes along. We're excited about it, and
River of Fear, yeah.
River of Fear,
River of Fear, one more time.
River
That's
of
the
Fear.
title.
Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Episode 10.
We'll see you guys
Next time.
Episode 10 next time.
We'll have something special for you.
Maybe. We'll make a cake and we'll eat it.
We'll promise that.
Later.